Should we just dive right into Red Bull?
Yeah.
The New York Red Bulls, the Red Bull New York, managed by Gerard Struber, and I guess technically his second year, unless you want to count the one game he managed in 2020. But entering his second full year last season, finishing seventh in the East, 13-12-9 record with 48 points, just barely sneaking in on the back of a phenomenal 15-game run to get ourselves in there. In my opinion, after going through the players on the roster right now, February 5th at 2:40. So certain players may not be signed when you're listening to this, or we may just overlook them or whatever. Don't come at us if somebody gets signed after the 5th. Okay, great. Probably going to go back to the 5-3-2 look right now with who's on the roster. So Cornell in goal, Nealis and Nealis right back and center back with Reyes and Long. Right now they're looking at Tolkien at left back. That's kind of their only real option because it looks like Jason Pendant's gone. Yearwood and Amaya in the middle after losing Sean Davis. Caceres up at right wing with Morgan and Klamala left wing and striker. There is a player who is rumored to be about 99% signed to Red Bull named Luquinhas. If he comes in, he'll either slide into that left wing spot, right wing spot, and then Caceres will drop down, or they might even change formation and go with like a simple 4-2-3-1 like we used to in the old days. So with that signing, it would be very interesting to see what the shape looks like and what Struber does with that group. So keep an eye out for that for sure. Did they improve during this window? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely lost a couple of players that I think they'll definitely miss out on, like Sean Davis and Fabio. But I think that they replaced them pretty well, honestly. Bringing in Lewis Morgan will definitely be a good replacement for Fabio, assuming they play him as like a second striker. But locking down Cornell is definitely good. Yeah, and then bringing in the crop of guys that they did, as you've talked about a lot, it seems like it's in panic mode a lot of the time at Red Bull, but they've done a good job in bringing guys in and improving the team and, making sure that this is a team that has the quality to make the playoffs again. So I would say that they did improve. I wouldn't say that they like drastically improved because I still think the team was pretty talented last year, but yeah, I think on paper they look good going into the season.
That's kind of the way I put it too, right? They improve, but not by much. Nealis is probably not a step up on Duncan at the right back spot. Long is going to come in and he's who knows? I mean, he's coming back. It sounds like his rehab is going well. Taking Tolkien out of center mid is probably not ideal. Morgan's a good step for Fabio, but they're still missing players that they still need are probably a Sean Davis replacement and a little bit of striker depth. Right now it's Klamala and our good buddy Tom. So
Tom Barlow.
Definitely missing that depth. And that seems to be, that seems to be where a lot of teams are right now, as you'll see when we go through this, is a lot of teams are missing that depth of if somebody goes down, who's next. And that's just because we're early in the window, right? Who do you think their best addition was? And I know this, I know your answer already for this.
Lewis Morgan. I'm not going to go with Cornell here because I know he was, I think that was their best move, but their best addition, I'm going to say, is Lewis Morgan.
Okay, cool. I mean, I also put Lewis Morgan, but I thought you were going to go Cornell.
Yeah, but he's not exactly like an addition because he was here last year. I know they made the move to make him permanent, but I consider like an addition, somebody who wasn't here previously. So I'm going to say Morgan in this case.
Okay, that's cool. I also said Morgan. I thought, he can play at the right wing back spot. He can play on the wing. He can play on the second striker. He's, he's pretty decent in front of goal. He's got a lot of really good attacking qualities. So I think it's a pretty good pickup there. Biggest loss for me, Sean Davis, obviously. Captain, played every minute, top 10, in our opinion, top 10 center mid CDM in the league. That's a big hole to fill, and they haven't quite done it yet. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. Excuse me. It'll be interesting to see what they do to fix that for sure. Pick one player from this team. Excuse me. Pick one
okay
player.
over there?
No. I drank a lot of water. I needed to burp and I didn't. It was like stuck. Um, Pick one player going into 2022 as a player to watch. Somebody you think might break out or is going to be a really big addition.
I am keeping my eye on John Tolkien this year. I think this is the year that he makes his mark in the league and solidifies a place in this team, and then inevitably gets that move to Europe by the end of the season. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on Tolkien.
Interesting. I'm also trying to take care of Grace here, who's whining because there's a cat outside. She wants to go chase it, but she will not. Obviously, in 2022, if in case anybody is not heard, it's the year of Omir.
Why do you specify 2022 when you say it every year?
No, I'm just kidding. Wiki Carmona is going to be 22 under 22 this year. Like, I'm convinced. He was on a short list at the end of the year as like 20 under 20. It wasn't like an official thing, but people like to watch out for next year. And I think that again, depending on the shape that they use and the tactics, I think he's going to have a big role to play. He's already getting massive minutes for Venezuela and World Cup qualifiers and things like that. So I think he's going to have a really good year and an under the radar type of move, depending on if they go out and buy any more players. Omar Sow, he was a USL guy we brought up last year, who is just he's massively athletic and has really good size. Raw in terms of talent, but he might give us some solid minutes, kind of like instead of Barlow minutes. One line, one question, one statement. What's the biggest question going into this season for New York Red Bull?
For me, right now, the question is who replaces Sean Davis, because we've yet to see that. Fabio was the other, I would say, bigger departure, and I think they replaced him well with Morgan. But with Davis kind of leaving somewhat recently, there's still a need to fill that role for Red Bull. And I'm curious to know if they try to bring somebody in like outside of the organization, or do they bring someone from another Red Bull affiliate? Do they just promote somebody from Red Bull 2? So it's kind of a short-term outlook on a big question going into the season, but I think it's the one that's on my mind at the moment. It's just what they're going to do to fill that spot.
Sorry, she kept whining, so she went outside. I gave it. I like that. I think that's obviously a massive question. I went more attacking. Is Patrick Klimala going to break out and become a double-digit goal scorer this year? We haven't had a double-digit goal scorer since BWP, and it has shown in our lack of offensive ability, both in the season and at the in the playoffs. Right. He's got really nobody else to help him out. It's going to be his show. They're going to try and use him as a lone striker. They're going to try and do a lot of things. And that's my biggest question mark for Red Bull this year, because if he doesn't produce, we don't win. All right, last question for Red Bull before we move on. Where do they finish this year? And I know we're doing our predictions later, but give me a range, right? Give me a range of where you think they might be this year.
I think, and I will most likely change this at some point, but my current range in my head, I'm thinking lower part of the playoff picture. So like somewhere between like 4 and 7 at the moment is where I'm thinking.
That is super generous of you. I've gone 6th to 9th, either in or out, very, very much like they were this year or last year, I guess. Very, very close to that. You're either in or you're out. It's down to the wire type of thing. That's where I'm at.